And if you have to, juice your vegetables, super chew your fruit. Get your digestion going here. Put yourself on a pancreatic formula. Because if your liver's getting fatty, so's your pancreas. It might not be getting fatty, but it's inflamed. It's acidic. The lymph is backed up even there. Could be suppressing digestive enzymes and the like. So get that pancreas up there. Tight back and chest. Oh, there you go. Tight back and chest. That's your lymph. You're tight. Your lymph is locked in you, sweetheart. You've got to get that lymph moving. And easier said than done, but focus on those adrenals, focus on those kidneys, honey, and and the lymph system. So there's the formulas. Definitely get into the colon. Remember the Fab 4 we talked about. You can use that Fab 4. I'd also grab a liver formula and a pancreatic formula. To save money, you could do 1 bottle of liver, gallbladder, 1 bottle of pancreas, 1 bottle of liver, gallbladder, 1 bottle of pancreas, and walk yourself down that line. All fruit, chew, super chew. Digest here more than down here, and work your pancreas back out of this. A lot of the liver herbs, however, will touch over and help the pancreas. Not really vice versa so much, but in a lot of the liver herbs will reach over and help the pancreas, so you'll be good in that way. Don't be scared here. You're real tight. You're real tight, but this is your lymph system, and this can become serious if you don't get this moving. These are acids. You're already lipid depositing from the fatty liver issue, but that'll come right out of there. You can fix all of this. Fix all of this. This is nothing. The radius solaris. Interesting that you mentioned that. Well, if you have radii solaris, these are black lines or dark lines that radiate out of either near the pupil or just in the bowel ring, just about a ½ inch or so around the pupil. These radius solaris are deep rings. There's no question about it. These are deep weaknesses. It generally starts in the colon, the transverse colon, and radiates in the brain, and it depends how far down the genetic line you are to how deep they are and how far in the brain they get. These radius solaris, if they get too deep, you can pick them up on a CAT scan as a brain lesion. So this is real important. You want to use upper circulation. You're in a genetic downline. Remember I said you young guys are in trouble here. So you just got to fix these things. That's all it is. Get into that colon. Really got to get into the colon. That's one of the connective links to the radius solaris. You'll notice they'll come right down on the bowel ring. And really get that out of you there. And you probably have one going right up into the cerebellum, probably more left than right, but who knows? Could be either side or both. But these are all fixable. This has nothing. They have nothing to do with leaky gut or parasitic invasion. I mean, that's some iridologist that hasn't thought outside the box. These are deep genetic weaknesses in cells, and have nothing to do with these parasites or leaky gut. Does mean you have some colon issues, no question, and also up in the brain. It depends how far those radii solaris radiate up into the 11 to 1 o'clock position in the eye. Let's see. I don't know. You go after this whole thing together. I've been to a few naturopaths that only stuck me on supplements. Don't tell me how to heal or diet, and I'm so frustrated. No kidding. That makes me sick about naturopaths. Now, even naturopathy has lost its way. That's why what I did is I took the principles of naturopathy, some of the principles of botanical medicine, and I lumped them into a program of wellness, health programs that regenerate the body, and got people away from this ridiculous concept of diseases and supplements and things like this. And people don't have the money to even focus there, and it's a waste of time. And I've tried to get naturopaths, but they're the least people that come to me. Believe it or not, in my school, they're the least. I get more medical doctors, chiropractors, acupuncturists than I ever do naturopaths to my school. Get some, but not many. She's been in the ER every month because of her hypertension that jumps. You can't control this one, sweetheart. This is all about lymph pressure. There's not a thing you can do, and you don't want to take high blood pressure medications, maybe in a PRN, meaning when needed, but you wouldn't take a high blood pressure medication, a beta blocker, calcium channel blocker. If you're normal, then you'll really bunch yourself into hypotension. No, this is pressure in the cerebellum. You might see a little bit in the kidneys too from that, but boy, you're seeing a lot of it in the cerebellum. That's an easy pick on that. She's lost a lot of money seeking help from holistic practitioners. That's the sad. Like I said, there's a lady up there. Her first appointment is $800. Mine is 2, unless you come in, it's $2.50 because I do your eyes and stuff. But if you call her for a question, it's $50. $50 to ask you a question? I think I'm in the wrong, I'm doing this wrong. Who's that guy that said I was a capitalist here a while back? You said I haven't got $100 for any time you view these. Maybe you quit viewing them. You know, we try. You know, we really scrape and try to help everybody. Thank God we do these herbs ourselves, and we can keep their costs down and that. And because I'm sick every day for 8 months, now giving birth, oh, my husband and my children suffering. Yes, I'm here to help you, sweetheart. You live in Hawaii, and you don't need to find an iridologist, but you can find an ophthalmologist. An ophthalmologist, most of them can take a picture for me. I get a lot of pictures from ophthalmologists. You don't need to dilate the pupil, anything like that, and send me your iris and I'll go over it. But I can tell you, you've got to get your lymph moving. I don't care what the iris shows about what tissues are involved. This is how you get rid of fatty livers. This is how you get rid of all the tightness and stuff. This is how you pull the lymph out of the brain and how you get remedy, how you get stable again, all these things. If you're compromised with this radius solaris, meaning that these are deep genetic weaknesses, this is why you're focusing on regeneration of tissue. And I've said this over and over again. This is where man has to come to. Can't treat anymore. There's nothing. You spent so much money treating yourself and you're still in the same boat you were. And that's because their focus is totally somewhere off of this planet. So really, thank you so much. My next client should be here, so I'm going to have to cut this video short. But I'm going to catch up. I got some awful good cases here to go over with you guys, and I will do that if I have a no-show this morning, which happens because we're so far backed up. Sometimes we get that. Then I'll be able to finish this video and to get caught up here. But for now, all you I address are go after your health issues. Don't be scared. You know, we're here to help you. Don't freak out. You'll be okay, and we'll get you back into a state of health again. How about that? All right. You guys have fun today. Bye-bye. Well, guess what? I have a no-show again this morning, so we can go on down the line here. Excuse me. We can go on down the line and cover some of these cases. This is another one from Dano. Work outside, outdoors in New York, and tips on staying warm this winter. Whoa, Dano. Whew. Gosh, you know what? Thank God I'm not in your shoes. I was born and raised in Indiana. Came to Florida all the time because Dad built a house down here in the 50s. I tell you what, I hated that cold and snow and getting frostbite. I can only tell you that those times you might do some steamed vegetables. I don't think you're going to be able to stay all on fruit. I suppose if you had a good thyroid moving around, but I don't know. You know, I had a difficult time. I was down here when I was all on fruit. But that would be the herbal tea time, you know, herbal teas, warm soups, vegetable soups, no cooked tomatoes, that kind of thing, or steamed vegetables, and kind of do as much fruit as you can and then shift to the vegetable or steamed vegetable line. I think this was the problem when you look at man's migration into these more hostile environments. And I say hostile in the sense to his physiology. We've adapted, and the word adaptation is obvious, but at the expense of our health. So when you say, well, we've adapted, sure we've adapted at the expense of our health. So when you're taking someone that lives up north and they've lost their health from the diets that you generally are polarized to, you get well. So I don't know how to help you too much other than that. Really a struggle, my friend. Now, your interest. This was Rossum. Let's see, Rossumly. Interested in Chinese on bone marrow. I should have got that for you. That's a health Concerns. You might Google them. Health Concerns. Got a good formula there. The problem in botanicals, I'm not sure what herbs are great for bone marrow. Because the bone marrow, all this, again, bunch of cells. To be honest with you, I like the velvet antler, the adaptogens for that. But look up Health Concerns. The formula is called Marrow Matters. Marrow Matters. There's no books that I know of that, in terms of botanical work, and I've been to about 4 herbal colleges, and I'm studying probably 3 or 4 currently. And I really haven't read of any herbs that are specific for bone marrow. Don't know that we know that. If we do, that's good. You can turn me on to it then. But again, I think if you think of the health of the cell and you realize the blood and lymph, I think it doesn't matter what cell you're talking about. That's how simple I think this is. It's nice to have these herbs, though, that really kick up the function of cells. And I think the adaptogen herbs are going to be real key here. In doing that. That's why I like I have an Ultimate Immune, and that Ultimate Immune I consider very bone marrow-ish. And especially as for this gentleman that has Lou Gehrig's, I'd be pumping that Ultimate Immune down because of the ginsengs and the velvet antler. At the same time, it's a little expensive because antler is quite expensive by itself. I have a bottle here, and I think this bottle of antler goes for $80 or $90. And it's just that, this is a technique that people raise deer or elk, and in the velvet stage of the antlers, they cut that and use that antler stage. They don't hurt the animals, but in terms of regeneration of tissue, it's quite good, and doesn't any effect that we know of negatively on the animals. I only have a couple of those things like that I use. But when I see people in wheelchairs, and I'm thinking, okay, I cut a little bit of an antler off, which doesn't hurt anybody, and yet I can really rebuild the nervous system and help these people out of chairs. I'm going to go with helping these people out of chairs. Now, I know it's their karma and blah, 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 but my karma is to be here and assist them to unwind their karma. Here's a 23-year-old female. She does honey and royal jelly. She's a strict vegetarian. Good girl. 80% raw. That's good. She was 100% raw for a short time, and her MD said she had phosphate or phosphorus deficiency. You know what? I don't go by blood work when it's low proteins and things like that. It's common with this. When you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're getting the proper ratio of phosphorus that you need. If you got something antagonistic to phosphorus in your body, then you'd want to detox your body and get that out of there. And this is the problem with isolating chemistry. If you took a lot of calcium supplements, or you're taking calcium supplements, it's antagonistic to phosphorus. Even though the phosphorus is the little brother, too much calcium or magnesium pushes out phosphorus. So don't isolate chemistry. This is why I don't isolate chemistry. But fruits and vegetables has the proper ratio of phosphorus to cal to mag to all the other brothers and sisters. So you can't be deficient in phosphorus if you're eating fruits and vegetables. I've never ever seen that. On a blood work, you might see some up and downs with that, but look at what else you're doing and taking, what supplements, and get rid of the supplements, because I see nothing here. Now, we could be back to the adrenals and kidneys again here. You see this a lot in dialysis, where the phosphorus and potassium go crazy, and then they give you phosphorus binders and that crap, but that's dialysis, acid stripping the blood. So it's common to have lower proteins on a vegetarian diet. Okay. But I wouldn't sacrifice your diet with what they told you to eat, because you know what they told you to eat, and you know that's not healthy.